Welcome back to 30 Days to the Deal. Today is day number 27. We're almost there. We believe that we can grow and we can understand this real estate business. We don't have to be a consumer. You don't have to save massive down payments. You don't have to follow your mom and dad's way of buying a house. We're not here to buy a house. We're here to buy and build an investment portfolio. And so we have a process for that. It includes marketing and sales and operations. We are basically teaching small business. And what I've learned years ago is that if we bring business principles into the field of real estate, then we get to win. This came from a friend of mine, Dan. On his first real estate deal, he's like, I don't know what's so hard about this real estate business. My first deal, I bought like 14 condos. How do you explain that to people? He says, they're just boxes on land. That experience helped me continue my thinking on real estate, which is it's just a business with a product and we just need to go ahead and do the business. And by the way, I want to help you understand something. Your business's primary function is to serve you, not the other way around. We are not here to sacrifice ourselves for our business forever. The idea is we grow the business big enough where it takes care of us financially, not the other way around. Most people who get started in real estate, the hard kind of reality of it is that it is a marketing and sales enterprise. The problem with marketing and sales is that it's counterintuitive to what most people think business is. Most people have a really big emphasis on operations. If I ask somebody, what does your real estate business look like? They will usually talk about this right here. I have rentals, I pick up the rent, I deal with the bank, I deal with broken toilets, I have renovations, I have trucks, I do rehabs, and they focus on operations. I want to give you a different frame. Operations is the fulfillment that the marketing promise makes. See, marketing and sale is the driver of revenue. Revenue, another word for revenue, is money. It's the cash that comes into the bank. Operations is not about revenue. It's about another word called margin or efficiency. In other words, revenue is about making money. Operations is about keeping money. We have to make in order to keep. If you're hyper-focused on keeping money, you won't have a lot of emphasis on making money. So what was a big change in my mindset over the years? I have gone from focusing on operations as the main criteria, and I've given a lot more respect to marketing and sales. So here's my bold statement. Marketing and sales is the most important part of any business. The businesses that do not market, they do not grow. Marketing produces one thing, which is leads. Sales produces something, which is conversions or revenue. If you want to drive sales, you must have leads. I made a lot of business owners who they've been an operator for many years, and so they often call themselves an owner-operator. What that means is this. When I hear somebody say, I'm an owner-operator, for the most part, it means that they have become complacent and they're waiting for business to come to them. They may have done some marketing or they might casually do some marketing, but it's not a marketing and sales organization. It is an operations organization. What does this mean for us? I think we as the business owner, I'd rather instead of being an owner operator, I'd rather be an owner marketer, an owner sales expert. Like I'd rather focus on revenue because this is the old statement, revenue solves problems. How do we think about this now? When you wake up in the morning, we have this thing called the money sheet. And I learned this from a mentor of mine, Judge. We have the money sheet, and I use it every day, versus the parking lot. And what the money sheet is, it's the things, the activities that will put money back in my bank today. The parking lot is all of the nice things I want to do for my business or feel that I have to do for my business, but it doesn't put money in the bank. This is a very complicated emotional thing to go through. We all feel better doing the parking lot. An example of the parking lot is I'm going to make my logo. I'm going to open up the bank account. I'm going to go to Home Depot today. I'm going to go and select the home office furniture. These are examples of parking lot. And even though they're important and relevant, and yes, they do matter, oftentimes where investors, entrepreneurs go wrong is they prioritize this over, I got to make a really hard negotiation today with the seller. I have to go and physically get money from one account, move it to another account because I have a closing on Friday. Really, anything that prioritizes money in the bank will keep you in this really interesting game. This is the kind of paradigm here. It looks kind of like this. You focus on money, revenue goes up, and then you have a whole bunch of operational problems. And so for a while, you're going to stagnate. And then because you're focused on revenue, money will go up. And then you'll probably have this, and then you'll probably have this. And so at the end of the year, you have these runs in your financial growth, and then you have stagnation, and then you have a run, and then you have some stagnation, and then you have a run. But ultimately, let's just say that this is your first deal. So you made $10,000, and then you made $50,000, and then you made $100,000. And I'm going to say, how's your business doing? If you're a marketing and sales focused business owner, you're going to say, you did 100 grand in the first year. And I'll say, great. And then I'm going to say, what problems did you encounter? You're going to say, well, I have problems here and I have problems here. I have no time left because I'm working too hard. I have to hire people. My operations are kind of a mess. And so I have all of these messy piles of stuff. New business owners do not yet have the experiential maturity to allow these to exist. I want to say that a different way. As a business owner focused on growth, I do not make my bed in the morning. I know it's weird. I get out of bed and I quickly go to work and I make phone calls. There's a lot of people that would rather make their bed, wash the dishes, cut the grass, go to the store, go do everything other than making phone calls. It's a very hard thing to do because you feel like you're being irresponsible by not making your bed. But to me, the not making the bed is part of the process. And by the way, I like making my bed. And that was awesome. When I had no money, all I did was make the bed. And there's nothing wrong with making your bed. But the challenge is when we have this business, we in our business start making the bed on items that don't need to happen. Let me give you the big boost that we're looking for. If we want to increase the value of time, then we have to increase our revenue activity. So here's where this gets really fun. I would say with marketing, one of the hardest things to do is the cold call. And so many of you by this point on day number 27, you have probably at least 200 real estate agent leads. And if you have 200 leads, here's what you actually have. You have 200 conversations with people, and you also have 200 prospective properties that you can buy. You've actually acquired two different assets. One is an actual deal, and one is a relationship. If you have done this part well, then you have 200 friends in this business. Now, we often put a lot of emphasis on the property. If you've actually built a good conversation with the 200 agents, this is how you increase your time. It's by installing time leverage. So what do? Instead of making my bed in the morning, I get up and the first thing I'm going to go do is I'm going to send my daily mass communication. I'm going to spend a half an hour per day and I'm going to position a message that follows up on all of these 200 agents. Some days I hit all of them with the same message. Other days I break it up between, okay, this was a cold lead, this one was a warm lead, this one was an offer that I've made. But every day I'm really thinking about all 200. So here's what I like to do that you should probably do. At least once a month, you should send a message to all of your new friends. So a monthly follow-up. And it sounds like this. Hey, this is Tina. It's been a month since we talked last. Just wondering, how's it going? Any new listings I should be looking at? Tina is going to allow the realtors to start providing her with lead opportunities. So when I wake up, I can spend a half an hour with email, text, and ringless voice messages, and I will send a message to everybody. Your instinct might be like, well, Ben, I'm just a spammer. I don't want to spam people. I'll say this part because this is very important. A lot of new investors and business owners who are finally getting into marketing are constantly waiting for permission to market. You want to fix a big psychological part of this? Start thinking that it doesn't matter and you don't need permission. How many of you feel this like, oh, it's too late in the day to call? Oh, they said they'll call me back. Oh, I should probably wait 4 weeks. Here's what happens as you grow in your marketing. You shorten the window of follow-up and you stop apologizing and stop waiting for permission. Those are very, very big vehicles in marketing because here's the thesis. They have a property for sale and so they want to sell the property. You're not bothering them because they want to sell the property. Number two, wouldn't it bother you if somebody else followed up more aggressively than you and they took the deal from right under you? How many people would that bother? It would definitely bother me. And so this happens a lot. With an agent, if you don't call and you don't have the conversation and you don't follow up on the property, well, you'll be the weird investor in the corner driving by the house at all hours of the night wishing you would have bought it. And so my lesson for the day is it's very important that you develop an attitude of marketing, and we are always promoting. You might think you're bothering people, but I would argue that in a sea of noise, you're barely breaking through the noise. And so if you follow up consistently, there's a level of intentionality. There's a reality that you will actually meet the agent at the right time. And then the other part that we really don't understand as new investors is this. Most sales, like really good ones, are closed after 8 follow-up attempts. 8 is the stat that I heard. The other stat that I heard is that 50% of people follow up once, less than 25% of people follow up more than twice. So imagine this. Imagine less than 25% of people will ever follow up 8 times. That's wild that it takes 8 impressions to get somebody to actually close. So my big advice is this. Realize that the market is cyclical, and as the property gets listed, they're probably not ready to sell it to you. Do not, under any circumstance, take a property where the price is too high and mark it as unqualified. That is an amateur move. It's not unqualified, just the price is too high. Allow it to come down in price and track it. You have to watch it. As it comes down in price, it's in your CRM. You're doing the weekly follow-up because you're the smart investor. All of a sudden, you're back into the middle of the conversation, but now it's more on your turn. And it drops again, and it drops again. If you started fresh right now and went to MLS and pulled a bunch of leads, you're like, let me pull all the old leads. It's the same as if you would have started 6 months ago and tracked those leads and watched them not sell for 6 months. Would you rather call them now as your first time, or would you rather have called them for the last 6 months in a row, building rapport, letting the agent know that you're ready to go? And so if you find a very old lead, you messed up. If you start right now, in the next 6 months, you will never find old leads again, because you will literally track all the leads that hit the market and you will watch them price drop. And by the time you get to 6 months from now and the house hasn't sold, you're like, hey, it's Shelly. This is the 6th conversation we're having. Are we ready to finally do a deal? So my encouragement to you is this. Don't get in your head about the fact the price is too high. The natural market will degrade seller morale, just like the natural market will boost this crazy confidence in a buyer's market. It'll create exuberance and lunacy in a buyer's market. It will degrade the seller's psyche in a buyer's market. Allow the market to keep eroding at the price. It's not even you. You're just over there like, hey, I'm ready to buy. Nope, I want to get a higher price. Then let the market give you one. Next month, no higher price. I'm still here. And so if you're willing to do the follow-up, I think you'll have a huge advantage. The best deals come from good relationships with consistent follow-up, where a seller is going to say, I'm not ready to take that price today. And you're going to ask this question: how much longer does it need to sit before you'll consider a price drop? You'll have opportunities to buy. You'll have opportunities to sell. The game is to stay in and just keep making offers.
30 days to